Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fifth week of social entrepreneurship. And I am delighted and just thrilled with the quality of discussion that you guys have been having around the different concepts that we've been reading about and listening about and watching on the videos. I appreciate especially your discussions around, okay, how does social entrepreneurship differ from a business? And what about nonprofits? How does this all work together? Great discussion. A lot of you are talking about too, well, what does this mean in terms of finances, in terms of money? And those are all good questions to be asking and discussing. What I want to do in this brief video is highlight just a couple of things. First of all, I want to talk about the article that you'll be reading, Collective Social Entrepreneurship. And then I want to mention something about the part that you'll be reading in the textbook by Bornstein and Davis. So first of all, let me refer to the article. The article that you're going to be reading, Collective Social Entrepreneurship, you're going to be doing a review on that. This article is a little more academic than perhaps we have been reading to this point. It's a little long too, so allow yourself some time to think about it. And the article itself can be basically broken down into three parts. The first part is the introduction that talks about so much of the literature and the emphasis being on the Lone Ranger type of social entrepreneurship, or social entrepreneur, I should say. Pay attention to that. What is it saying there? It mentions a couple of documentaries that have been made about those people who have become sort of heroes because of they've started social enterprises or are invested in the social entrepreneurship movement and made a name for themselves and have helped so many social entrepreneurs. And it sets that up as kind of, this is what the literature seems to be suggesting, that it needs to be one person who has particular characteristics who will be successful. But then the article goes on to talk about that while the individuals are important, and of course they've made contributions, we need to think perhaps in terms of a more collective approach. And one of the areas that talks about is harnessing resources. There's a whole section about the different ways to harness resources, and that's what enters into part of the conversations that you've been having about, okay, so where does the money come from? How does this work? Where does profit enter in? Does profit become the main point? What about sustainability? So harnessing resources is an important part of that article. It's a little lengthy. It might get a little more involved than you're really interested in, but just get a sense of what it's talking about. And the place that I really want you to concentrate is in the last part of the article, where it talks about three key activities in terms of collective social entrepreneurship. Three key activities. What are those activities? What do they mean? And what do you think about them? And what do you think about them? Those are the pieces of that article that I want you to pay attention to. And then, of course, your article review will give you a chance to express your own thoughts about that article. Secondly, I want to mention then the part that you'll be reading in the textbook, Bornstein and Davis. And there are two questions in that part three that I think are vitally important. The other questions have importance, but the two that I think are the most important for us to consider are these. The first question to consider is, how is social entrepreneurship influencing business? Think about that. How is social entrepreneurship influencing business? And then the second question that is asked is, can philanthropy be more effective? Can philanthropy be more effective? So as you read that section 3, part 3, pay attention to those two questions, not only what the authors are saying in response to those questions, but what do you think? What do you think about those two questions? I want you to be thinking about those. That's all I have for today and for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to help you any way I can. Keep up the good work, and I love your discussions. Thanks so much.